Welcome back, everyone. It's great to have you here again. And today, we're diving into some really exciting developments that are going to directly affect millions of South Africans relying on SASSA grants. If you've been following the ups and downs of social relief and grant disbursement in South Africa, then you already know how important it is to stay informed and up to date with the latest announcements. Well, today's update is not only important, it's potentially life-changing. The South African Social Security Agency has officially confirmed early payment schedules for various grants ahead of the upcoming festival season. And that's not all. There are also updates on additional grant assistance, increased benefits for certain recipients, and even proposals for new support measures that are currently being discussed at the highest levels of government. So whether you're receiving the old age pension, the disability grant, child support, or the 370 South African Rand grant, there's something in this for you. Now, let's begin by looking at why this announcement matters so much right now. As many South Africans prepare for upcoming religious and cultural holidays, financial pressure has become even more intense. Inflation has impacted the cost of basic goods, transport, and utilities, making it harder for households to make ends meet. For many families, these grants are their only consistent form of income, and any delays or disruptions can throw their entire budgeting out of balance. That's why the announcement of early payments for the May cycle is being met with such relief and excitement. For the first time in recent memory, SASSA is making a coordinated push to ensure that beneficiaries receive their funds in time for holiday preparations, travel, and basic needs without being left to struggle during the wait. According to the official release, SASSA will begin disbursing early payments across the board beginning in the first week of May. This includes the older person's grant, which will be paid out on the 2nd of May, followed by the disability grant on the 3rd of May. Then, on the 6th of May, all remaining grants, including the child support grant and foster care grant, will be disbursed. This is a full week earlier than the standard mid-month release that many beneficiaries have gotten used to, and that shift means more flexibility and more dignity for families during a crucial time of year. The agency has also promised that Postbank and all participating retailers will be fully operational to handle the surge in early demand, helping to ensure smoother queues and better access to funds. But the good news doesn't stop there. Alongside these early disbursements, SASSA has also confirmed adjustments to how the SRD 370 Rand grant will be handled going forward, as part of an ongoing reform to better support unemployed citizens still grappling with the economic aftershocks of COVID-19 and continued high joblessness. The agency has announced more predictable payment dates for SRD recipients. This means that unlike in the past, when beneficiaries were left waiting for unpredictable SMS updates or online portal checks, going forward, SRD grants will be paid on a fixed weekly schedule each month. That consistency is expected to reduce stress and uncertainty for millions of people who rely on that lifeline to survive. Additionally, SASSA is launching a pilot initiative for a new top-up support system aimed at vulnerable individuals within the SRD grant bracket. This includes single mothers, child-headed households, and those with chronic illnesses or disabilities not yet formally recognized under current grant categories. The pilot, which will initially be rolled out in select municipalities across KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, will provide an additional 100 Rand per month to qualifying individuals. While this may not sound like much, for those living on the margins, it can mean the difference between buying food for the week or going hungry. If successful, the program is expected to be expanded nationwide by early 2026, with even greater support planned as part of a broader basic income grant strategy currently under review by Parliament. One of the biggest concerns beneficiaries have faced over the years has been access. Whether it's long queues at post office branches, ATM shortages, or failed digital payments, these issues have often added unnecessary stress to already difficult lives. To address this, SASSA is working in partnership with the Department of Social Development and several fintech companies to expand access to mobile banking solutions for grant recipients. The initiative will allow beneficiaries to link their SASSA payments directly to mobile wallets, such as those operated by MTN Momo and other providers, giving users the ability to receive, save, and spend their funds using only their phones. No bank card, no ATM, no long lines. In rural communities where traditional infrastructure is limited. In the same breath, SASSA has promised a revamp of its online platform, which will feature a more user-friendly interface, live chat support, and better mobile compatibility. These updates are meant to reduce reliance on call centers, which are often overloaded and slow to respond. By improving digital communication, SASSA hopes to cut down on confusion about payment dates, appeal processes, and eligibility updates. The new platform will also offer real-time application tracking, so you'll be able to see the status of your grant without having to constantly call or email. These enhancements are already being tested and will be rolled out in phases starting mid-May. One other bit of positive news is that SASSA has received additional funding in the national budget to increase awareness and outreach programs, especially in underserved communities. This means more pop-up centers, more mobile units, and better educational campaigns about grant eligibility, fraud prevention, and financial literacy. In fact, one of the key lessons from the past few years has been how easily misinformation can spread, leading many people to miss out on the help they're entitled to. By investing in local outreach teams and multilingual support, SASSA hopes to close that gap and make the system more inclusive than ever. Now, let's talk about grant increases because yes, there's news on that front too. Starting in June, most permanent social grants will receive a modest bump as part of the inflation adjustment scheduled by the National Treasury. The old age grant, for example, will increase by 100 Rand over the course of the year, 90 Rand in June, and another 10 Rand in October. Similarly, the disability grant and care dependency grant will follow suit. While these increases are still relatively small when compared to the rising cost of living, they are an important recognition of the hardships faced by grant recipients. Government officials have also hinted that they are exploring additional top-ups tied to food and energy costs, which may come into effect later this year. Interestingly, there's also been a recent shift in how the government views social support, not just as charity, but as a form of economic stimulus. A new report from the Department of Social Development shows that for every Rand spent on social grants, there's a corresponding boost in local economic activity, especially in rural areas. This means that the more effectively the government can distribute grants, the more likely it is that small businesses, street vendors, and local shops will also benefit. It's a cycle of support that helps lift entire communities, not just individuals. With that in mind, policymakers are becoming more vocal in their support for expanding the SRD program and even introducing a full-fledged basic income grant in the near future. That brings us to a big question. Will the SRD grant become permanent? The answer, according to sources close to the cabinet, is a strong possibly. While there's still debate over how to fund such a massive expansion, there's growing political will, especially as the 2026 elections approach. The reality is that job creation has not kept pace with the growing need for income support, and government officials know that temporary solutions like the SRD can't be relied on forever. A more sustainable, long-term grant is not just being considered, it's being seriously developed behind the scenes. Experts believe that a basic income grant could start at around 500 Rand to 750 Rand per month, targeting unemployed adults who fall outside of the UIF or formal support systems. In the meantime, SASSA is encouraging all recipients to double-check their banking details and contact information to ensure they don't miss out on any updates. That includes logging into the SASSA website or using the mobile app to verify that your grant account is active and correctly linked. If you're still using the post office as your payment channel, consider switching to a more secure and faster method, such as a commercial bank account or mobile wallet. These options not only reduce the risk of theft or loss, but also make it easier to track your funds and make digital purchases. There's also a lot happening behind the scenes in terms of fraud prevention. In recent months, SASSA has increased its surveillance and anti-fraud efforts to clamp down on duplicate applications, ghost accounts, and scammers preying on vulnerable citizens. New verification protocols are being rolled out, including biometric ID checks and facial recognition tools, which will be gradually introduced throughout 2025. If you've ever been the victim of SASSA fraud, you'll know how difficult it can be to recover your funds. But with these upgrades, the agency is hoping to significantly reduce incidents and improve response times for those affected. One more exciting bit of news is that there will be a special SASSA Festival Relief Bonus offered in select regions as part of a pilot program funded through provincial partnerships. The bonus, which is worth an additional 250 Rand, will be awarded to a limited number of grant recipients who meet specific criteria, such as consistent grant collection, participation in community development programs, or demonstrated economic hardship. This is part of a broader move to reward responsible grant usage and foster stronger links between SASSA and community-led initiatives. If you're watching this and thinking, wow, this is a lot of change, you're absolutely right. SASSA is going through a transformative moment, one that could redefine how South Africa supports its most vulnerable citizens. With better payment systems, more predictable schedules, early festival relief, increased transparency, and expanded benefits, this could mark a major turning point for the agency, and more importantly, for the millions of people who depend on it every single day. So what can you do right now? First, make sure your contact details are up to date. Second, stay informed by subscribing to official SASSA channels and reliable sources. Third, don't forget to let your friends and family know about these updates, especially the early May payment schedule. We all know someone who could benefit from a heads up, and a simple message could save them a long trip or missed payment. And if you're someone who has been thinking about applying for a grant but hasn't taken the step, now might be the perfect time to do so, especially with improved systems and quicker turnarounds being introduced. We'll be following these developments closely and bringing you more updates as they happen. Whether it's changes to payment dates, increases in grant values, or news on the potential basic income grant, you'll hear about it here first. Remember, this isn't just policy. It's about people. It's about you, your neighbors, your community. These grants keep food on the table, help children get to school, and allow the elderly to live with dignity. That's why these updates matter so much. Thanks for sticking with us through this deep dive into the latest SASSA updates. If you found this video helpful, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment below if you have any questions or thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates like this. Your support means the world to us, and we're here to make sure you never miss a thing when it comes to your money, your rights, and your future. Until next time, take care, stay informed, and stay empowered.